It's time now for the Tool Shed, where we talk about home improvement, ownership, and DIY projects. The Tool Shed is brought to you in part by the Glass Doctor of Michiana with 3 locations in South Bend, Goshen, and Elkhart. And by Penny Seeger's Remax Results. Real estate that makes sense. Now here is your host, the king of tools, Warren Seegers. Along with Penny Seegers for that extra curbside appeal. Now sit back and enjoy this week's show.
And welcome into the Tool Shed. Here we go, another Thursday night, back on it, talking about home improvement and home ownership, and we're kind of like continuing off where we left last week.
Yeah, because we talked too much.
Got a little too chatty, didn't finish our list, so now we got to finish it this week. But yeah, we're talking about I guess it's top 10, whatever we were left off with, but originally it was the top 20 things that every homeowner should know how to do. Because let's face it, when you buy a home,
there are certain things that you really should know how to do.
And, you know, the big thing is, I guess you don't have to know how to do them.
But it's super helpful.
It's super helpful.
If you do.
Yeah, because a lot of those things that happen, they never happen in the most convenient time ever. Your heater never goes out when anybody's open. Of course, now they do. Most heating places will come out for emergency calls, but you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, it's going to be a fee.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's just all kinds of things that you really need to know to do on a basic level for your own home, because getting a professional to come in to unclog a sink, it's going to cost you $250 just to have them show up and look at your drain, and they're probably going to do something really simple like, you know what a snake is, and run it down. And
you'll be like, oh my gosh, really? I could have done that myself.
But now, what we do want to talk about before we actually get to that tonight, I recently wrote a blog on Facebook about the one thing you need to buy if you're a homeowner, brand new homeowner. The first thing you need to buy before you start buying furniture and appliances and all that kind of stuff is one of these. And this is a toolkit. It's important to have one of these as a homeowner because, let's face it, when you buy IKEA furniture or you get an appliance in, there is always some assembly required when you do those things.
And on this top 10 list, top 20 list of things that you should know how to do and be able to fix yourself, just about any tool in here is going to be required.
The basic tools that anybody should have at their house are a hammer, a flathead, a Phillips head screwdriver, a tape measure, and a level. Bare minimum.
Bare minimum. Bare minimum. Right.
But I recommend buying one of these. This is a toolkit from Deco, and we have a link in our post that has direct link to this on Amazon. It's only $80, but it comes with, I do believe, 168 different tool pieces. I won't say 168 tools because that's not how it works. It works off all the pieces. So all the ratchets that are in this count as a piece.
Right.
And this has all your basic tools that you would need.
Right.
Plus
wrench, pliers.
Things
it
that
has
you
may not have even thought
wrenches,
about.
Wire cutters. It has a spot in there for electrical tape. It has wall anchors that you would need. So when you go there, if you do go to look at this, it's going to say it's an automotive repair kit. And why they say that is because it has a ratchet set. I don't know why that would just be for automotive, because let's face it, most of the IKEA stuff, when you're putting that furniture together, has just regular bolt heads on there. And it's a lot faster to put one of those in. It'll have both. It'll have a hex nut on the top that you can use the ratchet, or you can use your Phillips or flathead, whichever they use on it. But it's always faster with a ratchet. So guaranteed, if you're a brand new homeowner, please be smart and buy one of these. I still remember when we bought our first house, and I started putting all the furniture together, and I didn't have any tools at that time, and I was using a butter knife for a flathead screwdriver, and I was using a steak knife because it kind of worked as a Phillips head screwdriver. Not very well. Bent the living crap out of them. You weren't happy, and then plus, since they're not meant to actually be used as screwdrivers, I kept slipping off and scratching the coffee table. Funny how that, when we were buying it, it was our coffee table, but when you see me damaging it, it became, what are you doing to my coffee table?
That wasn't that bad.
Maybe on your side of the
I don't remember it being that bad. But the thing
I
is
do.
by the time you start buying, like a hammer is what? A good hammer, usually what, $7, $8?
Yeah.
A good screwdriver, $5, $6.
Yeah.
A good level or even a small level, again, $3, $4, $5. So, by the time you add up several of these little things, the bare basic, you're easily going to get up to that $100 quick.
Real quick.
Real quick.
And
so
what's nice about this, it's all self-contained also. So you won't lose
and it's not pink for us girls. I'm so tired of when, you need a good toolkit for you first-time girl homeowners, and they're always pink. Like, I get if you like pink, but why does it have to be pink? It's just a toolkit.
And, I bought 2 of these. And the boys don't know it yet. They're going to find out right now. But the reason I bought these, I bought one for each of them. Because I'm tired of finding my tools out in the driveway, in the yard, in the basement. They're never where I want to find them. So I'm going to give them their own toolkit. Now, I hope they put them away better than they do with mine. It comes with a box and everything, so as long as they put them away, it's always there when you need it.
You better mark them with their names on them like we do their socks.
We have to be responsible.
Like we
yes,
do their,
you have to be responsible.
Like we do
He's
their
yelling at
socks
the other
and
room.
underwear because I don't think you got them 2 different colors.
My favorite commercial is the one that it's a Scrippy,
A Sharpie
commercial, and he goes, how do you use your Sharpie? And it shows the plumber guy, and he's got his underwear sticking up, and he goes, it says Bob, and he goes, hey Bob, how do you use your Sharpie? Do you write your name on your underwear? And he turns around and he goes, who's Bob? Anyway, so yeah, you need a good tool set. Everybody needs one. Even if you're going on a trip, can be used in your car too. So you can just grab this by the handle, take it in your car, take it on a trip with you. Always make sure you have tools handled. Whether it's in your car or in your home, you always need them. And like I said, there is a link in the description of this show that will take you directly to this kit. I highly recommend it. I bought it for my boys. We'll see how long their tools stay in the box.
Hey, Greta, and hey, Regis. Regis said that he asked his wife the other day to get him a screwdriver, and she said a Phillips or with ice. So he knew she was a keeper.
Yeah. I'll take a screwdriver on ice. Thank you very much. Let's see, what else? Who else? Oh, yeah, I got the same thing that you got anyway. All right. Before we go on, let's go ahead and thank the people that are our affiliates that are carrying the show tonight. That's One Gutter Guard Systems, GardenHouseFlags.com, and the Glass Doctor of South Bend, Indiana. All right, so we're getting close to a break. Let's go ahead and take one of our top 20 things that we've been talking about so we actually get done with them tonight. We left off at clean your grout. You should know how to do that. Grout. I love tile. I hate cleaning grout. But
Does it say how often you should clean it? Because, if you're mopping the floor, aren't you technically cleaning the grout?
No, because that's really what starts the buildup of the grime, the grit and the grime. Because grout is kind of, rough. So it collects all that stuff. And when you're cleaning your grout, you don't want to use harsh chemicals or cleaners because it actually breaks the grout down.
Okay.
And the grout is part of the material that's holding your tiles together.
Okay.
Okay? So when you're cleaning your tile, the best thing to do is just use hot water and a stiff brush. Okay?
Okay.
And if that doesn't work, add a little baking soda on there. That should help loosen up the dirt and work it out. If that still doesn't work, go get some OxyClean or one of those oxygen cleaners, and that definitely is going to help. But I would use that as a last resort because it's not still the greatest for the grout, but it's not as harsh as like if you're using like the real heavy chemical cleaners. So.
Okay.
But anyway, got through one. Hey, let's mark that off. Woohoo!
What if the grout isn't sealed? Can you still clean it?
Always seal your grout. Okay. Now, there are two types of grout. You have sand grout, and then you have the grout that has like a polymer in it. Sand grout needs to be sealed.
Okay.
Because it would be, it's still porous, so water can still get in that, and then over time damage your floor underneath the tile.
Okay.
I always go with the one step up, where I use the grout that has like a polymer in it, or a vinyl type grout, because it seals itself.
Okay.
I like that a lot better, and plus sometimes with the vinyl grout, it's a little bit more flexible too, so it's not going to break if you have looseness on there.
He thought he was done.
Yep, I know.
Okay.
She keeps me talking.
Now you're done with one. Go ahead.
All right, cool. Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue on with this list. Don't go anywhere. Stay right here with the tool shed.
Call the glass doctor.
Clear.
Call the glass doctor. We'll fix your paint. Oh yeah.
Hey, did we do that termite inspection?
That discount agent said we didn't need to.
The VFW exists to ensure that our heroes receive the benefits that they're entitled to. Help that meets the everyday needs of soldiers and their families. When our troops are separated from their loved ones, we help connect them. When homes are in danger of foreclosure, we're there to assist. And the medical care of America's finest is always on our minds. Our programs remind the millions of troops, veterans, and family members that America is grateful for their service.
And we're back in on the tool shed. I'm Warren. This is Penny, and we're talking about the top 20 things that every homeowner should know when they own a home.
Yes.
That's
and
why
we're
they call him a
trying
homeowner.
to get through the list. He's trying to get through the list. I'm trying to get y'all the information. Oh.
Sorry, I thought a fly landed on my head. I didn't want that to stick around for 2 minutes. That's all right. I had to say that.
You're funny. You're funny. Hi, Kim. Thanks for watching.
So, painting a room, you being a real estate agent, I think this is just more, I mean, everybody should know how to do that. But I think if you're selling a house, what's the easiest way to make the house look good for sale?
Fresh paint.
Fresh paint. Paint will cover up a lot of stuff. A couple things that I want to suggest to people when you're painting a room: make sure you have good lighting. Get some good shop lights out there, because like the paint that we use in our house.
Oh, the gray paint.
It's this gray paint. It's called fog, I do believe.
Yeah, the lighter one is fog, the
Oh, my
darker one is
goodness.
steel. But the fog, for whatever reason, because it's so light, it's so subtle against the white, it's like we always tend to miss just tiny little spots. And then you're
even
laying in bed, you're like,
it's looking at the ceiling like, oh, there's another spot.
how did I miss that?
And that's probably because a lot of times when we paint, we get a little bit in a hurry and we're not lighting.
Sometimes.
Every time. And the other reason you want to use shop lights, and it never fails. Anytime you paint a room and you always go over with spackle and drywall mud and you fix all the nail holes and stuff like that, you're always going to miss them.
Right.
Okay? So you're always, after you paint, I would run a light down the side of the wall, because what it does, it creates shadows.
Right.
And it shows you the spots that you missed, that you should have spackled. And you can get them so that night down the road when you're not painting anymore, that way when all the furniture's out, you can still catch it and then paint back over it.
Right, right.
Next thing it says on here, change the air filter. We've talked about this a couple weeks ago. But dirty air filters will shorten the lifespan of your heater. Trust me, that's one thing that you always want to take care of, is your heater. Anybody can change an air filter. That's not that hard. You take the back off, slide the old one out, make sure you go, know what you're buying. It's right on the side in the cardboard of the air filter. Put the same one back in. Right. I always recommend, though, for heat, actually I don't, this was kind of you that brought this up, is always have a heating professional come in at least once a year, check your system out.
Twice a year.
Twice a year. Okay, twice a year.
Yeah, usually you do it once right before the season when you're turning it on, and then again right at the end of the season when you're about ready to turn it off, just to make sure you're shutting it down properly.
Because we've had, in our lifetime of having homes, we've had 2 heaters go out, and they were always when I was on military training and gone. I think one time I was in Africa, and the other time I was in Georgia.
Well, the first time it was the heater. The second time it was we had put in a wireless thermostat, and the wireless thermostat board stopped communicating with the heater.
The heater. Easy fix.
Yeah, it
Most
really
of the
wasn't.
time.
It wasn't a real bad fix, but it just was,
Right.
Well, and part of it was because of where the thermostat was. It was like basically right on top of the heater, and so it wasn't
so it wasn't even heating. Yeah,
because it was
forced air going up into the thermostat, giving it a false reading.
Yes.
So as soon as it turned on, it turned off because it thought it was already at that temperature.
Right, and so they're like, yeah, we really need to move it like way out here in the the living room or the dining room, away from the heater.
And there's another reason why you would need a toolkit at home, because just to move that, you're going to have to take the screws out. You're going to have to get the wall anchors in. Tools are important to have at home. Okay, lawn mowers. It's always a good idea. Not always. It's a mandatory thing. You need to change your oil, the spark plugs, the filter, air filter, oil filter. Always be able to do that at least once a year. And if you don't know how to do it, and you really don't care to learn how to do it, I mean, it takes time to do that stuff. Everything's time. The reason why there are professionals out there to do this stuff is because people just don't have time to do it.
Right.
Me personally, it's not that big of a deal to do those things, so we try to do it ourselves. And trust me, we've done this before, where we've burned up a few lawnmowers before because we got lazy and didn't check those things.
No,
here's one that kind of drives me batty as we speak, and that's our high efficiency washing machine. That's a front loading machine, if you're not familiar with high efficiency washing machines. But those you really need to maintain and keep on top of them all the time. If your clothes come out, like you just wash some clothes and you open up and they smell mildewy and just not like they didn't get clean.
And it's not because your teenage son left them, or you got lazy yourself and left them in there
well, that's
for
actually
a day and a
sign
half.
that if you leave them in there for a short period of time and they actually start smelling quickly, it's because they're being infected by the actual washing machine because you're not cleaning it out.
Oh, our washing machine needs cleaned.
Yes. So the first thing that you got to understand with a high efficiency washing machine, a front load, after you get done with the laundry, do not close the door. Because what you're doing is, it's already wet and wet in there. You close the door, you trap all that water in there. It has nowhere to go. It doesn't dry out. It only takes 48 hours for mold and mildew to start growing.
And that makes
So
sense
you
because
leave the
like a
door
top
open.
loader, you always,
Leave
you
it open.
always
Exactly.
left the lid
It's just
open.
common sense. But I guess as Americans, we always think, like, you open the door, you close the door. Don't do that, though, with your washing machine. If you do have that problem, you can go out and you can buy cleaners that you put in there to get rid of it. Or you can do a simple thing, just run it with no clothes in it on hot water. That could help. And the other thing, too, is you can run a load, or a cycle, basically, with no load in it, and just put a quarter cup of bleach in there, and that'll kill the mold and mildew. But then, after you do that, you actually do need to wipe down the rubber gasket that goes around the door. A lot of people, like if you go in the laundromats where they don't take care of their front loaders, you'll always see that slimy stuff in the bottom there. That's mold and mildew mixed in with, detergent and stuff.
So after you run the load with the bleach in it, do you also need to rerun a load, or rerun it again with just hot water?
No, because you already have the rinse cycle that's going on with that. So you have the wash cycle, that's where the bleach is going to run, then your rinse cycle will take all the rest of that out.
Gotcha.
So, but one of those things, you need to know how to do that. We didn't do very well with still, I'm always going downstairs and finding the door closed and I'm cleaning it out. But yeah, you need to clean that out at least once a month.
Right. I wonder if you could do the same thing with vinegar versus bleach.
Don't know. I don't know if vinegar actually will kill mold and mildew. The reason you're using bleach is because it will kill the mold and mildew.
Gotcha.
I would think maybe vinegar would cause mold and mildew. It would act like a food source for it or something. I don't know. Okay, the other thing that you need to know how to do is how to put a wall anchor in. You know how to do that?
Nope.
I know she doesn't, because she'll always be like, honey.
Can you hang the stuff up?
Yes, dear. Yeah, and you can get the old wall anchors.
They're called the butterfly, right?
No, that's different. That's where you actually, a butterfly screw is basically, it's like this little metal, and it pinches like this, but it always tries to stay open. And it has a longer screw that goes through it, but you drill a hole in the wall, and then you push those butterfly wings together, and you push it through the wall, and then you pull it tight against the wall, and you tighten that in. And that's to hold things up and anchor it, but it anchors it completely through the drywall.
All right.
But I think there's some in here, matter of fact, that come with this this kit. But these are wall anchors. I don't know if you can get a close-up of that koi. Probably could if I wouldn't drop it. But these are wall anchors. The way that you put these into a wall is each one will take a specific size drill bit, and you drill a hole in the wall, and then you push these into that hole, and as you put a screw in these, they expand. Okay? I don't know if I can show you, but as the screw goes in, that's pretty tough, but as the screw goes in, it will expand and it'll anchor into the wall.
Okay.
This is the old school. There is a much better wall anchor out there now. And they don't have it in this kit, but they have wall anchors now that are self-tapping. So all you have to do is you basically screw it into the wall. It's got a self-starting system on the front. You screw it in the wall, and then you put your screws in. You're good to go. Easier way to do it. I would go with the self-starting wall anchors.
Aren't those the ones that are like all metal too?
No, not necessarily. They come in metal, and they also come in plastic.
Okay.
And they're very simple and easy to use. Follow instructions. You shouldn't have any problem with it. Wall anchors are important for mirrors, pictures,
anything
that
heavy.
you're gonna, anything with some weight to it. Where
that you don't have any kind of stud
right.
or anything.
Right, or it's, you got those little picture hanging kits. Those things are great, but they don't hold a lot of weight. You don't want to use those to put hang a mirror, because you're going into little nails in the drywall. It'll eventually work its way out. And who wants to break a mirror in their house and get 7 years bad luck? Not I.
Not right before Halloween.
No, especially not before Halloween.
Especially if you have any black cats or, just.
And she's superstitious, so yeah, I don't want that happening in the house. Here's one gutter guard. One gutter guard systems came in. Craig came in. He told us this: clean your gutters. Clean your gutters.
And downspouts.
And downspouts,
yeah.
yes. And the easiest way to clean your downspouts, information off him, is actually to take a leaf blower and just blow the leaves right on through. Cleaning your gutters, use a plastic spatula, and you can just scoop that stuff out. But you should do that twice a year, especially right around now. And you might have to, I know we will have to clean our leaves at least our gutters 2 to 3 times before the end of fall
gutters?
is over. Yeah, supposed to.
What gutters? We don't have.
Oh yeah, we don't have the gutter in the front, but we still have gutters in the back. Our problem is, though, we don't have those cheap gutter guards that were on there. They're all broken up, and we have oak trees. And I know that gutter out in the back that's over the greenhouse probably is filled with acorns
You're
right now.
not using my spatula. Go get a specific, Dollar Tree. Go to the Dollar Tree. Get a dollar spatula. We'll mark it. Leaf spatula.
Why don't you go to Dollar Tree? You're probably
fine.
there.
I'll go to the Dollar Tree. I'll get you a pretty red color, leaf color spatula.
I dig it. All right. Oh, and you know what? If you don't want to clean gutters ever, call One Gutter Guard Systems. They do great work, and they can install a system where you don't have to do that every year, which we are going to be doing to our house. And when we do that, we'll show everybody the quality work and how it works. Okay, so we're done with that one. You know, this is cool. We're way over. We need to do a break. I was totally not paying attention to the time. Were you?
Nope.
Nope. All right, so we'll finish this up. We got 2 left. We'll come right back, and we'll let you know what the final 2 are. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned to the Tool Shed.
Call the glass doctor. Call the glass doctor. We'll fix your paint. Oh, yeah.
Oh, do I have a great house for you guys. Flip job. Oh, no, yeah, the next door neighbors are lovely. Frat house. It's got tons of personality. Haunted. And I will be with you guys every step of the way, West Palm.
Ethan and Gizmo, best friends since July 7, 2011. Chris and Luna have been best friends for 2 years. Riley and Frankie have been best friends since 2017. Beth and Thurza, best friends since 2017. Your next best friend is waiting for you at the Elkhart County Humane Society. For more information on adoption, visit elkharthumanesociety.org.
Welcome back into the Tool Shed. I want to say hey to Debbie, Steve, and Sabrina, along with Felicia. Thanks for watching. Always appreciate the support. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them. I can't guarantee we're going to answer because we're really bad at looking down to see if people are asking things. And one thing I want to bring up before we get to the last 2 things here is on Thanksgiving we always do something special because it's a time to give thanks, and we always relate it to home ownership. Last year we did
Stop 22, right?
I don't think it was totally part of Stop 22, but we did do backpacks for the homeless.
Yes.
So,
yeah, right.
Right, because, you know, it's still home related, even though they don't have homes, but it was a good cause, and we supported that. Well, now, the Edifice Venture, as a matter of fact, we are actually one of their supporters, but it's Operation Ramp It Up.
Right.
An amazing group of people. They're all volunteers. They come together and they actually put ramps in for veterans that may be that are disabled, that can't get in and out. But this is only after they exhaust it. Like if you can't get it, there's no way you can get a ramp. Your insurance won't pay it. The VA won't pay it.
You don't have anybody else to
have
help
no,
you. You
have
can't
nowhere
afford
else to
it.
turn.
Right.
You can apply to get one of these ramps, and they will do their best to raise the money and bring in a ramp. So
and install it.
And install it, yes. As a matter of fact, we're going to have Dan Gann and Greg Snyder. Greg Snyder is the person that actually founded the organization, and he's out of Ohio. And their goal is to eventually have ramps in all 50 states. I was just involved with one of the ramps where it was actually the 100th ramp that the organization installed. It was right here in Elkhart, and it was the 4th ramp, though, in the Elkhart area.
Nice.
So on Thanksgiving, we're going to have them in, and we're going to talk about that great organization. It's not just for veterans either. It's also for people that are just disabled that need help, too.
They just need the help.
I think it started out for veterans, and then they expanded.
They opened it up to just anybody.
Exactly. Great organization and great people. They were fun to work with on that. All right, so deal with a flooded basement. I think when we bought this house, do you remember what it looked like in the basement?
Well, yeah, because we have a roof. Well, we had a roof before we put the greenhouse up. There was a spot basically right in the back of the house where the roof was here and the greenhouse is basically, they came together right here, and there was a back door that was rotting out, so it just poured rain because of the pitch of the roof right into the basement.
But there was actually part of the building there.
Yeah, because it was a foundation.
But it was gone now.
Right. It was a foundation of a, because I can't. with my hands. You have no idea what I'm doing. But it was just basically the way that the roof cornered.
Right.
And the way that in the pitch of the
Basically,
roof,
the water
it basically poured right
from
into
two
the
sides of the
basement.
house, water dumped right into the basement.
Right.
Well, I kind of mentioned this in the washing machine and the of how often you need to clean. But you need to, if you have water that is accumulating in your basement, you have some type of flood, you got about 48 hours to get that water out of there. Okay? So one, you're going to have to pump that out. Two, you got to get all your furniture out of there and get it to dry land, basically, and get it dried out. Because in 48 hours, mold and mildew is going to take over. Now you got a problem. So, you know, make sure. Well, the other thing is when it happens, first thing you want to do is turn off your electricity safely. Don't walk through the water to go to your fuse box if you have to. Go shut it off outside. Okay?
Right.
Definitely, that could be a lot of problems. And then the last thing we have on our list is inspect your attic. And of course, you want to do that because, once again, it's a water issue. If you got a leaky roof, it's easier to look in it to see if you have leaks. The best thing to do is to wait for a downpour and literally go up in your attic with a flashlight and just look around.
And look around.
Yes. A telltale sign that you do have some leaking or condensation, because that could be a problem also. That means the airflow is not going through. The temperature is way different in your attic than the outside temperature, and it's condensating. But and I've seen this before in attics like that they're kind of half finished, and a lot of people think it's bird poop, but you'll see these little silver dollar circles on the ground in one area, and a lot of people think, well, there was a pigeon there or something that got in and it was pooping right there. Actually, that is a sign of condensation dripping down, and when it dries out, it leaves the chemicals back, and it'll look like a little silver dollar spot. So that's a sign.
Interesting.
And of course, you know, sagging rafters is a sign that you got water coming in. But when you kind of see those things, you just need to know what you're looking for. And when you see that kind of damage happening in your house, you need to get it fixed.
Yeah. No kidding.
Something that people don't realize, termite damage, when you have termites, it's not because you have, like, termites do not come into your house just to infest your wood. The thing that people don't understand, termites are a sign of water.
Right.
You have water leaking into your home because termites will not bore and eat wood that is dry. Carpenter ants will.
Right.
Here's something that's interesting too about termites. When termites take over and they start eating the wet wood, and then you finally dry that off, they will just die. They have no exoskeleton, so they have no way of keeping their body sustained with water and moisture. That's why a sign of termites is also mud tubes.
Right.
They build these little mud tubes, or these caves, I would say, because that's what they have to travel in so they don't dry out.
Right.
But a lot of times when you dry the water out, you kill off the termites, and then carpenter ants like to come in because now they got this easy little pre-dug thing for them.
Right. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, did you have any on yours?
Well, I think that there was one that we missed. Back here, I noticed that we did not talk about that you really want to know where your main water shutoff valve is.
Yes.
And how important that is, because...
Well, especially, you know, with the water problem in the basement, you might have had a busted pipe because it froze. You need to know how to shut that off and stop it from pouring water in.
Right.
Another good thing is, maintenance-wise, I don't know a lot of people that are able to shut off the main water at the street, but it's important to know where that is. On the street, near the street, you're going to see a metal cap, and it'll say water department on it. You need to check that periodically to make sure that it's in good condition and not broken. Like our water main at the street, that metal cap It must have got, someone ran over it with a lawnmower, broke it right off. Now it's exposed. And the problem that could happen is over time, dirt keeps filling that in.
Right.
And then when the water company does need to turn off the water for any reason, whether it be an emergency or whatever, now it's filled with dirt. And you may not even be able to find it, and they're going to have to come and look for it. But it'll be filled with dirt, and they got to clean it out. So always check that. And I'm actually going to call the water department, have them come out and put a new cap on it, clean it out, because it's one of those important things.
Right, yeah.
So.
Didn't even think of that.
Yeah, yeah. And ours is broken. I noticed it just the other day, a matter of fact. And I'm guaranteeing that's what happened. Someone hit it with a lawnmower.
Right. Which, I mean, I remember over in Goshen, it was in like our flower bed. So, I mean, that metal cap can itself get covered with dirt. Like if it's in the middle of your flower bed, you just don't want the cap to be off.
Right.
Where dirt can get in, where they have to stick the thing in to turn the water on. And a good tip to be able to mark that kind of stuff, like even if you have a septic system, you want to know where the lid is for it. A lot of people just put dirt over it, and then when their septic system fails or they need to have it pumped out, then they're like, oh my gosh, where's the lid? I don't remember anymore. And the easiest way to find it is go take some rebar and start stabbing the ground. You're going to find that lid sooner or later. But what I would recommend is go get yourself a bird bath. A little statue or something, and just make that into a little flower area. And then what you do is you put the bird bath right on top of it, and when it's time to get your septic system or you need the water main, you know where it's at. You marked it. Right. I've seen people put like stepping stones and things like that right on top of that particular lid as well. So. Absolutely. Yes, sirree, Bob. Anything else that you have on your list? Nope. Nope. No, I didn't really have anything that coincided with the rest of the stuff. Not like, the fun stuff I had last week. Yeah. Well, hey, I want to say hi to Thomas, Darren, and Roger, just across the street. How you doing, Roger? And Debbie, thanks for watching. And before we let you go, remember the most important thing you need to have in your house is a tool set. Right here is a good quality one. I just bought 2 of these, one for each of my boys, so they stop leaving my tools lying around all the place. We'll see how long they keep theirs together. And if you go down into the description of this episode, you will find a link that will take you to this product on Amazon. Yep, and thank you to our sponsor, Glass Doctor. For all of your glass needs, go to the Glass Doctor of Michiana. They're in South Bend, Mishawaka, and Goshen. Yep. And Elkhart. Oh, and Elkhart. Oh South Bend, Elkhart, and Goshen. I don't know why I said Mishawaka. Because Mishawaka is South Bend. I mean, who even knows where that line is? They run together. That's been a long-running argument in this area ever since I've been around here. Glass Doctor of Michiana. They're all over. They do all everywhere. Which here, that everywhere. Is one guy that we need to have come over because we have a couple windows that need repaired. So. All right, well, that is our show for tonight. We appreciate everybody joining us. Once again, look in the link. You'll find a link to this toolkit here. Make sure you have those on hand. Very, very needed. Anyway, till next week, DIY until you die.